You can see the old wall.
Here comes the old wall. Doesn't look that old though, it looks nice and clean, doesn't it? Now here's something that needs a bit more research into. The Beit Yaakov Synagogue, 1700 and 1720. Look, just as a synagogue reconstruction. We just take this word out and just call that construction. Interesting indeed, the Beit Yaakov Synagogue.
Immigrants, led by Rabbi Yehuda Hasid, arrived in Jerusalem. They settled in the Ashkenazi courtyard in the Old City just as a synagogue reconstruction had been completed, sinking the community into debt. In 1720, when they could not repay loans, Arab creditors burned down the synagogue and its courtyard. In 2005, construction and restoration of the synagogue began, and it was gloriously dedicated on the first day of the month of Nisan, 2010.
That's pretty interesting. The Arab creditors. The Arabs are the ones giving credit here. Yes, I'm seeing this Lamech name around a fair bit. It's like they're really bringing this one out now. Only 4 months ago, as you can see here, by Josh Peck.
Let's see here. So lines 30 to 36 are missing. So please turn to the next page, page 62, and it'll say column 6 at the beginning. It starts from the top. It says from infancy. And so I'm going to read from my reconstruction the line prior. And just follow along.
So they're all into reconstruction, that's for certain. Yes, they're really spawning out a whole lot of new hype and information, and certainly Dead Sea Scrolls just keep growing, don't they? Keep scrolling. Interesting ideas here to do with Lamech. The third idea, of course. Oh, I can see the Lamech movie before too long. Too much Lamech stuff, and here we have Sacred Magic of Abramelech, as delivered by Abraham, the Jew, unto his son Lamech. Of course, Lamech's not Abraham's son. I've read that wrong there. But he's a grimoire of the 15th century. 15th century certainly comes into mind with a lot of this stuff. Well, here's some stuff from the Book of Noah out of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Big missing chunks down to tiny little bits, they find, and that's what they give us, and everybody's happy now. Let's all clap. Oh, and in case people didn't know, Lamech heavily ties to the idea, of course, of 777. Here we have Men of the Bible series, The Man of Violence, Lamech. Interesting painting here by Cusco's School of the 17th century, so it says. And always have these little kiddies floating about, don't they? Something going on out in the back here. But very androgynous, aren't they? They're not very breasty, that's for certain. They're pretty long in the arms too, and look, it's pretty short. So some interesting concepts when we look at this art now. I'll definitely be looking at a lot more art, and other people may come up with a few ideas for me there. And here's a little interesting bit I found, how Melchizedek's relationship to Abraham is not told in Genesis. Put together here. Alice Lindsay, 2012. But look, Shiva. Shiva is a man in this instance, but certainly repeating names. Incredible the amount of repeats we're seeing with a closer examination. And here I found this, it came up in an associated search there, and we've got the Marianne here, haven't we? A couple of times. A couple of Mariannes. And Malahas, and look out, Cleopatra again. How many Cleopatras are there in their history that they've written? Certainly a lot of Herods anyway, as you See here, the Gribber one. Yes, Herod the Great even. We might have to have another bit more of a look at all this too for certain. And then the kissing cousins. Naamah named her firstborn son Lamech after her father Lamech. The younger belonged to the house of Lamech the elder. Yes, well, I just noticed that was, I think, supposed to be the Jew until his son Lamech. So we'll have to look at this a little bit deeper. I didn't think Abraham had a son called Lamech, but maybe that's some other Abraham. Merlin of Abraham. Oh, yes, it's very good, isn't it? He's got these archers from that place at Hebron. Look out. Yes, Lamech or Lachem, the alchemist. Chemistry and metallurgy. Very interesting principles indeed. And lastly, I'll have to do a lot more research on this William Blake and his artworks. When I look at these artworks, they're just very, very sombre always, but certainly packed with some information, no doubt. Well, he's running with the ball here, isn't he? And here's Lamech killing old Cain with a crossbow. Pretty interesting indeed, isn't it? There you go. Very medieval, eh? It's a bit like peyote or something, is it maybe in the background here? Certainly drugs definitely feature in a lot of these things, that these paintings and in the literature. The bow, always the bow. Oh, and here we have the gospel hidden in Genesis. Man appointed mortal, sorrow, the blessed God shall come down, teaching his death shall bring despairing and comfort and rest. Interesting from the Spanish-English dictionary here on Lamech, comes up with the Mecca idea and the prostitute ideas. The polygamy, and look at a little link to Amsterdam. Certainly Manchester. How about this man-chest business, don't we? How to create a man-chest by doing a bit of cutting. And that was the idea of that cut bird. I hope you got that from the other video I did, Saint Cut bird. I'll be looking at him a bit further, or Shim, as the case may be, in some more videos that I may do on Hebron in Northumberland. There's a pretty good one here in Cadiz, Los Canos of Mecca. Finally, this is something to do with Spain. I'll have to look at this further. Look, La Mecca nightclub forced to close its doors. La Mecca. Closed for a decade. Yeah, it seems this Mecca word is used so many places. Look at here. Lloyd's Avenue, Lloyd's of London Avenue. Mecca, Bingo, Ipswich. So here's the Spanish Mecca nightclub. Looking a lot like that other thing in Jerusalem too, isn't it? Dome on the Rock look. Seemed like some pretty good waves breaking old Canos de la Mecca. That's for certain. And finally here in Poplandia we have Darwin, meaning La Mecca. And how relevant this is, but rather interesting anyway to see this Darwin name here, Darwin Tiora. And the high-speed line, the La Mecca high-speed line. And Medina, so many repeats of names. It's mind-blowing. And it's very Griffin-like, isn't it? And 25, of course, we know that one so well.
Well, for all those people who have never been able to see what is blatantly obvious to do with all these entertainers and royalty and military and nearly everything that you see on TV, especially all the bigger ones and even down to the mid-range, and there's plenty of really even small range as well, are all tea drinkers. And I mean, blatantly obvious here with old Justin with the beaver, here in pink, pretty in pink, ready to go to Thunderbirds Golf Club, no doubt, and some sort of Photoshop face here that looks like the mask. Very strange little bit here in this clip. Let's just play this. The mask. Hedonistic BS that they keep throwing up at us as if you really want to be in this scene. You really want to be at this party? Wouldn't it be terrible? I'd be so bored. These people and all their horrible looking food they've got here. Yes, well, with the pink hair, it's definitely what you're looking at there. Yes, very dainty indeed if you have a look at this picture here. Super dainty. If you watch the whole video, you'll see it's prancing around only like a tea drinker could. Nice little pose here he's got going.
Lost control of myself and compromised. You're a criminal, you got that yummy.
Well, there we go, eh? Look over the background here. No prizes here. Look at the long arm on the law here. Now, I made a post about this. I've actually made a few posts over time about this. I've got a Stramanity channel, and on Stramanity, there's no holds barred. It's immutable, can't be taken down. It's on the blockchain, so that's a win in by itself. Admittedly, they do cost 5 cents or so to watch, but for those people who really want a no holds barred approach, certainly that's where I can do it. So I've done a few things, just on a few things lately there, and back to the old days type idea, like it used to be here, before they came in with their heavy stick. So check that out if you can.
Well, a very interesting story in the media, that is for certain, with Scarlett Johansson, Scarlett Johnson, Scarlett, the old Scarlet thread, studying Scarlett, Sherlock Holmes. But yes, come under fire because she's turned back a role, because you can see here for yourself what was going on with that. In Rub and Tug as Dante Tex Gill. Tex Gill. There is the go. And the Gill was born as a woman, but identified as a man. So, I mean, that just shows exactly what we've been talking about for a long time, really. And, it looks like Al Capone. So I think Al Capone would be something we could have a little look at there. Dante. Now, Dante I've covered quite a lot. Look, Jared Leto. Eddie Redmayne. Red hair, the red mane. Interesting indeed, eh? Glad. 7 biggest studios. 7 biggest studios. Well, that's about all we need to see here. Isn't that an interesting story here about Dante Gill? It's a strange picture here indeed. Very, very small. Funny what turned turns up in the same set of photos here, as we can see very clearly there with Bronny. And here's Scarlet, isn't it? Studying Scarlet. I'm sure this is her. Yes. So that's the big story at the moment. So things we've been talking about, part of the real life. Real life indeed. Funny Paul McCartney turns up in it on this page for some reason. And clearly longer ideas. Funny what turns up on this page on the thing for Gill. Not many pictures of the Gill itself. This is one here. And that's it.
Look, I want to thank Rob Knight here for sending me this. I wasn't aware of this one here. Margaret Hamilton. I've just been doing things on the Douglas Hamiltons. Somebody called them the faceless elite. They're not really that faceless, just hide in the little shadows behind. We've not really got people behind, like the idea of the real full faceless people hiding right back. No way. I mean, just go to Monaco. They've got all their yachts and everything. The elite like to flaunt themselves to some degree, but they just don't want to stick their head right up, of course. That's what they use prime ministers and governors for, and different people, that they project as being the bosses, like the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. Sure, they're not the kingpins. But when it comes to people like the Dukes and the ducal families, they're quite big families, and they get themselves around the world doing all sorts of things, and always looking like the good guy. They don't need to hide because they look like the good guy, of course, like Ian Hamilton saving the elephants. Saba, no, I got cut off on that video. Saba meaning 7, born on the 7th day, and might have been the 7th month or whatever. A lot of 7s involved anyway, as usual. I had some great comments there about some of these events to do with the number 216, which is of course 6 by 6 by 6, and how it pertains to the Douglas event and the Pulse event and how they all connect. But this was a really good little bit here for International Women's Day, and thank you, Rob Knight. And look, here, Margaret Hamilton, the trailblazing software engineer. Well, she didn't really do that much trailblazing software, as we know, because there is no space idea, and Apollo's all garbage. And even in the thing, look at the size of the the mitt. Look at the big mitt and the big long. Oh, look, see, even their cartoon gives you the idea. And it is very much like that Astro Boy looking style there, manga. Style, the women who put men on the moon, futurism.com. And it's Margaret Hamilton. And have a look. I've covered this one before, but when you bring up Margaret Hamilton, you get two things: the scientist and the Wicked Witch of the West, of course, which I've covered before. Look, Brainard, isn't that a funny name? And Heathfield, well, there you go, scientist, Margaret Hamilton, eh? Nancy Roman, James Cox, oh, look, it's always in the names, isn't it? Heathfield, business owner. Oh, look, what a face this one's got. A bit like Clinton, isn't it? Looks a bit like Hillary. And no doubt, all over the same petri dish type thing. A bit older, still alive. Earl Ham. The Ham, man. Another Ham. CEO of Hamilton Technologies. Oh, it's got its own little company of technologies. Where? Oh, Cambridge, of course. What would you expect? Oh, yes, 130 papers, there's your 13. And look, James Cox, Chambers. Well, we know that Chambers name through so many events events too. Famous hoax in Malaya to do with some Australians, Barlow and Chambers, and the Medal of Freedom by Barack Obama. Oh, wasn't that nice? On the 22nd, you know, that day, infamous day in history, SAGE project. Graduate from the Hancock. Oh no, not the hand on the cock. Mathematics and French. Boston. And where's that little thing here? On the job with hands-on experience. On the SAGE project at the Lincoln Lab, where ANFSQ 7. Where's the 7? Here's the SAGE project. An extension of Project Whirlwind. Oh, well, look, here's another part of the whole, you know, the whole pantomime here. Anti-aircraft defences and things. That would drain on the public purse. Greek and Latin mentioned here. And here it is, NASA. Look at it here with its books. Look at this business. The tower. That's the navigation software. It looks a bit all over the place, doesn't it now? Indeed. Look, isn't it Janis Joplin? Look. Ever seen it? Could be, well, Janis and John Joplin, of course. Oh, look, here it is inside the module. Now you'll have a look inside this module here. This is one of the best shots I've ever seen of actually in the module. Wouldn't you be good there for 8 days, just in this position with a suit on? Well, how did you get the suit on? They usually have a little light suit and then they put a bigger suit on to go outside, don't they? Do their EVA. Oh, they love that word, don't they? The EVAs. EVA. So little Wally the robot's friend, isn't it? We'll pick up, go to some pictures of Margaret Hamilton. Take your pick here. There's something a little bit similar to the two, isn't there? Oh, look out, the Wicked Witch. Is this it too? Probably. Yeah, that's the actress one. This is, we look, Margaret Mead. Oh, look, another one.